Welcome back to Danny Robertson Music, where we're helping you be the performer that you are meant to be. I'm Danny. Thanks for joining me again this week. It is shaping up to be a very nice day outside, so we're going to take this party on the road in a second and talk while we get some fresh air. But I want to tell you a story really quick first. Many years ago, I played an outdoor event where we were playing at a street fair, basically, on a nice big stage. And the film crews were there and we were having a lot of fun. And in the middle of our set, we had this crazy, unexpected surprise. A pocket storm came driving through the downtown of that city and nobody was even expecting rain. Luckily, the sound company that was there had brought tarps for all of the equipment and we were able to cover most everything as the rain started. We ended up getting dumped on and it hailed while we were under a tarp, basically trying to cover our equipment and keep it dry. The only reason why I still have a working keyboard at the bottom here is because the sound company came prepared and we got almost everything covered and we were able to ride out the storm with our equipment fully intact at the end of it. As performers, we play a lot of outdoor events. We get asked to do these kinds of things, but we don't always have a plan in place for what happens if things go wrong. Let's talk about that as we go get some fresh air. When you play outdoors, there's all kinds of unforeseen circumstances. Some of them involve wicked amounts of sun. Some of them involve rain. It could be really hot or really cold outside. There could be other circumstances like lack of power availability. That happens on a lot of outdoor gigs. So you just kind of want to think about when you play an outdoor gig, what are the extra pieces of the puzzle that you don't normally bring to most of your shows? Because there's likely something that you need to be aware of. So if you're playing in the sun, what are some things that you might need? Well, I can think of a few examples right out of the gate. I'm wearing a pair of them right now. It's obviously really sunny right now. And if I didn't have these on, I wouldn't even be able to look at this camera. You might want to think about things like hats, like sunscreen. And on a day like today, I would bring something like a fan because it's going to be, by the time you're done performing, it's going to be super hot and you're going to be drenched in sweat. That's just how it goes with these kinds of gigs. A show at 6 o'clock on a hot, humid day, you're going to be sweating like crazy. Also, because you're going to be perspiring a lot, you want to have a lot of water or some kind of hydration on hand. Nothing like pop or coffee, Gatorade or Powerade or something that's going to give you that rejuvenating hydration, okay? So in addition to protecting yourself from the sun, you do want to think about your equipment. I play an electronic keyboard, and I can tell you that on a hot, sunny day, that black keyboard gets pretty hot and can get overheated. Luckily, it's never happened to me while playing a show, but it can happen. Another one that I've heard happen with friends of mine are like tablets, like iPads or Galaxy tablets, things like that. Guys that use their tablets for charts on a hot sunny day, you do not want your tablet to overheat, or you want to have a backup plan for your tablet, which is things like printing out all of your sheet music on paper. It's a lot more work, and you may want to have just that binder full of songs available for you as your backup plan. But it has happened to a lot of musicians that I know, and it's not a fun situation to all of a sudden have to depend on your memory to play a show where you might be reading music. Now let's talk about rain. Now, when you play in the rain, there's a different set of challenges that you deal with. You have to deal with the potential for your equipment getting soaked and potentially damaged. So you may want to have things like backup equipment ready. You may also want to have things like tarps, umbrellas, a change of clothes just in case you get soaked. It's very important to kind of think through these things before you actually go to play these gigs. Another one to keep track of that I wish we had when that original thing that I was telling you about happened. Smartphones were not as big of a thing back then, and having a weather app just handy from one of the musicians to kind of keep track of whether a storm was coming through would have been really useful at that gig. If we had known 5 to 10 minutes earlier that we were about to get soaked, we would have prepared a little bit more and covered all of our equipment a little bit more quickly. Some other things that you might want to consider when performing an outdoor gig are like the temperature that for the day. So if it's going to be really hot or really cold, are you going to have the right clothing apparel to cover the gig properly? So like I can tell you, I played an outdoor gig last September where it should have been warm, but it was actually a very cold evening. And so what I'd normally wear for a gig was not enough at that particular situation, and I had to put on an extra part of that attire just to make it look presentable and cover me for the warmth that I needed to have. There's also a lot of discussion that happens with musicians when it comes to things like shorts, whether or not it's okay to use shorts at an outdoor gig because it's too hot or too cold. And the truth is, it really depends on the gig. If it's a low pressure kind of situation, then maybe shorts are okay. But if there's potential for other gigs or more money, and you want to be super presentable and professional, you may want to dress the part, even if it's a little bit too warm for you. The last thing that I'd say to be aware of when you're doing an outdoor gig is to be aware of your power situation and your amplification situation, because two reasons. Power, you might not have very many options for power. I have done gigs where the entire band is set up off of maybe one electric outlet or two electric outlets. Not a lot of power to run the whole show, especially when it's a larger band like a 9-piece band. I've also done shows where we've run the entire gig off of maybe one or two generators, and that includes all of the amplification, all of the lighting, and you have to make the gig work based on just a little bit of juice coming from generators. Done that a couple of times, and two generators tends to work for about a 9-piece band. So power-wise, be aware of that, but also think about things like how long the electric cables need to be. Do you have enough power cords to get from where your power is being supplied from to where you're performing? Because a lot of the time outdoor gigs don't account for that. So ultimately, what it comes down to is if you are doing your due diligence and trying to be prepared for anything that could potentially come at you during a live outdoor gig, you're going to be fine. You may have some hiccups, but you'll be able to handle them. Be prepared. Try to think ahead about what is supposed to happen on your live gig and what could potentially get in the way of you doing that to the best of your abilities. So that's it for this week. Hopefully you can make these tips useful for you as you go to play your own outdoor gigs. In the meantime, if you're interested in diving deeper into these kinds of conversations, do me a favor, check out Danny Robertson Music, because we talk about a lot of things that are beyond just the music of your performance. We talk about how to talk on stage, how to make medleys and mashups. We talk about things like learning to take your audience on a journey with you through your show so they are leaving the end of your show feeling better for it, having experienced something that they've never experienced before. It's a way to make your show just that much better and make you that much more desirable for people that want to book you. So check out Danny Robertson Music when you get a chance. Hopefully you do get to play some outdoor gigs this summer and you get to have a great time doing them without any big hiccups. So best of luck to you on that, and we'll see you soon. Take care.